Howdy doody. And, well, he was here a minute ago. He might be out shopping with the ladies again. He said something about the wrong color handbag for his shoes or something.
Up the shenanigans.
Yeah, we're shenanigan, all right. Well,
we
good
got a
evening.
little bit of
How are you?
reverb going.
How's your start of the week coming along there, Mr. Dad?
There we go. I fixed it. Did that fix it?
What fixed what?
Oh, I have a. What was going on is nothing. Don't worry about it. I have the stream going into my my YouTube, and it was playing both of us through the same speaker. I fixed it. I'm actually wearing a hat. This is dedicated to my wife's weekend right here. So I have no idea what any of this means. I'm guessing it's a Colorado hat of some kind.
That looks like Colorado to me.
That's not where she's at, but it was dedicated to one of their ladies' weekends. So,
well, somebody's going mile high.
Yeah, they're they're
You
they're
don't
in
have
Vegas.
to go to Colorado, go mile high.
They're in Vegas right now.
Yeah.
Imagine what that's like, especially with the friends I was with last night.
Bunch of women cut loose in Vegas. What could go wrong?
What, everything?
What possibly could go wrong?
What could not go wrong? Ooh, that looks pretty good. I'm actually recording through OBS, so there's a little bit of delay I see, but not too bad. Looks good.
Well, I was going to use OBS, but somehow or another there was an update, and I did the update, and then things didn't work right. So I said, screw it.
Their updates have been pretty good. So they've been making a lot of cool changes. There's some menu changes I really like. I just like the flexibility. If everything's working correct, OBS just allows you a lot more bells and whistles, I guess. It allows you to have more transitions. It allows you to basically, do this right there, that kind of stuff. Anyway, hope the sound shouldn't be coming through though. So that shouldn't affect anything. The only sound that should be coming through will be this kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff, if it did. So how is everybody on Tuesday?
Well, we've got Sunrise Water Media popping in, but I guess he's got to go because he said something about catching the replay.
Tuesday.
Then we got Eating More Possum. No Blue Smoke today. And Frank S. Jr.
Oh, man.
Welcome, everybody. Let's see. I guess the big first update would be Dgi Fpv V2 Firmware update.
Oh, yes. There's been a lot of little knickknacks they've added to now the V2 goggles. Supposedly fixing a connection issue.
Well, there was a few issues they needed to fix. So we got this here.
Probably the biggest one they didn't fix, the whole drone itself. You didn't like?
What's new? Added ability to enable or disable video subtitles on the camera settings and goggles. Add ability trigger find my drone by pressing mode button and brake button simultaneously on the motion controller. So,
Added ability to start and
there
stop
is
motors
the
in manual
HDMI
mode.
live broadcast by connecting the goggles to DJI Smart Controller. I guess they kind of had to after DigiView kind of peed in their soup a little bit when they released that app to where you could hook your Android tablet to the goggles for broadcast.
Optimize flight safety. Optimize flight experiences when using manual mode. What would be optimized? Optimize flight experiences when using motion control. Ah, yes. I think the only thing that you need to optimize your experience with that is to actually fly it a lot. And that's what a lot of people kind of were looking for, the magic. They were hoping that the drone would just fix all these problems, just magically, and it's just not how that's not how the world works. It's not by magic. You have to practice. You have to do things over and over again.
And I just see Lee popping up on the chat here. Lee had a birthday recently, so happy birthday, Lee. I think it was last Thursday, so we missed him on Friday already. My bad.
All right.
So happy birthday, Lee.
Yeah, happy birthday.
And Woody is in the house.
Woody Drones. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get chat.
We got somebody else in the house too, but she's more the silent type. I decided to invite Stella tonight.
Stella.
Yeah, I invited Stella tonight. That's Stella.
Yeah, Stella's is a little bit too bitter for me. I'm not a huge Stella fan. I can drink it.
Nothing wrong with a cool blonde, man. Nothing wrong with a cool blonde. Suck that right down.
That's my only problem with Stella. That's about it. Other than that, Stella is a pretty good friend.
So here's to almost Wednesday.
Fix our pain. Let's see. Let's go right there. Let's hit properties. Hey, I'm trying to add some.
Yeah, eat more possum. Get on the ball. Get Yvonne woke up.
Yeah. Hey,
we don't have Chris to pick on when you have Yvonne in here.
Where's that knucklehead? Where is Yvonne? Yvonne. There we go.
He's the man in charge now, so he can't be hanging around with us common folk anymore.
I need one of those massive monitors where you can just put all kinds of stuff up.
That's the last thing you need.
You think that'd grind my computer to a halt? The one I'm using right now is actually
falling at a computer is already using that term rather loosely, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, you don't think? Oh, look at that! Look at that! See, I got this over here. You got to move that out of the way. I could put that on my shirt. I could wear a Dad Random shirt. No, I was just goofing with that. I know you can't read that, but I can read it. That's the thing about that. That's nice about the chat stream is I can focus on the chat stream as it's going over the overlay. I really like that. It's like having a teleprompter. So I can, be a little bit more attentive to people and their needs and desires.
I'm just flabbergasted here because since when can you read? When that start?
Well,
didn't I tell you go to the doctor, have that checked out?
My reading ability is as deteriorated like my language skills. if I'm in my wheelhouse, I'm usually pretty good. But if I go outside of it, it's like, and then I start making words up. But Tuesday for me is just like any other day. I love it. It's so nice being having the summer to ponder my next moves. Um, it's actually the first time I got to week 3, and I'm not insane. Usually about week 3, I'm feeling a little of
Okay,
insanity.
now this is Rich. When were you ever sane?
Yeah. One I
I
was
mean,
streaming.
in order for you to go insane, you'd have to be sane first, right?
Sanity is a state of mind.
Insanity is hereditary. You get it from your kids.
Insanity. Oh,
Yes, Woody, a 1 liter glass will work just fine.
so it's like it's awfully quiet.
It is quiet, but it is hotter than the Dickens too. And our beloved ERCOT, our what was that? Electrical Resource Company of Texas,
Uh-huh.
are screwing the pooch again. Last night I came home and my AC was up and set at 81 degrees. I'm like, what the dickens is going on? So I pull up my phone to see what's up. And apparently the public utility company tapped into my thermostat and readjusted it for me. Thank you very much.
Whoa.
Well, ERCOT were the fools that screwed up when we were sitting here without a winter storm and didn't have any power. Well, now, again, we don't have any power because they have this system where they can, where the power producers put in that they would be offline in 45 days. As long as they say it 45 days ahead of time, apparently nobody checks it and they just automatically grant that.
Uh-huh.
So there's nobody sitting there looking when everyone decides to put in for a week off at the same time. So we're down on power producers and we've got 100-degree heat outside and not enough juice to go around.
You'd think there'd be so many solar panels out there fixing all
The
this.
solar panels are not the issue. The windmills are not the issue, or the wind generators are not the issue.
Yeah, they should be
A
generating.
lot of power plants went down with that winter storm, and apparently they're still working on fixing them.
Wow. It kind of goes to show you how complex
They call
it
it
is.
thermal. The biggest issue was thermal electric plants where they burn natural gas. Apparently they
Right.
have the biggest problems right now.
Interesting. I don't have any problem burning natural gas in my house. Seems to burn up quite
Yeah,
nicely.
well, the air con units there's always that buzz in the background. It's just living in the South.
Yeah,
What was the poem for Christmas? Night before Christmas, and all through the house, the AC is humming because I live in the South.
yeah, at any time I remember, when anybody builds a house, I always tell them, I go put those AC units away from your recreation areas. Otherwise, you're going to hear them buzzing all the time. People forget to put them like on the side of the house by the neighbors or something like that, or the side of the house that's not, not where you're going to, want a little bit of peace and quiet. Because of course, once and then I guess if also if you live in a place where you're using heat exchangers or whatever, or, for the winter as well, they can be
In the
buzzing
winter,
all year.
in the winter, they just run that AC backwards.
Yeah. I have a combination of those. I don't have I have gas, and there's a mixture of systems. Um I have of my heating and air system, so it's not a I can at least have one that runs on gas if I need to. The one in my bedroom, turn that on, and that runs on natural gas. I don't Yeah, and the one upstairs is a heat pump, and the one in the main room is a heat pump. Heat exchanger. Doesn't pump any heat in the winter. It just runs electric heat strips
Yeah.
most of the time.
So you've already come up with a subject yesterday in your stream, but I want to retouch on that
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, I was just driving along and called Kai back, and he's like, "Hey, did you ever think of this?" And I'm like, "No." And what Kai brought up was when I was just kind of looking at that rendered photo, this one here, the one in question, um, is what's the forward facing camera? That was the question. What's the forward facing camera on there? How do you navigate with that thing?
How do you fly it when the camera's pointing to the side or to the back?
Right. So if you say it was a 360 camera, that was a question I could not answer. So when Kai brought that question up, I'm like, I don't know. And we started talking about all the sensors on it, the ones on the front, so-called sensors. Remember, this is still a fictionalized photo because we don't know if it's real or not. The only thing that I have to corroborate anything is I found another version of this it's well over a year old. It's another concept. But yeah, how do you fly this? Say you turn that swivel camera backwards. And the only thing Kai could think of is, well, maybe that middle eye up there is actually a forward facing camera. It's an optical, right? Maybe it's an optical. If it's an optical sensor, maybe it's just another camera, because you really don't need an optical sensor forward.
I mean, why would you need to have the camera on a 360 swivel if your drone can turn 360 on a dime?
And we both kept thinking, okay, well, how did the Phantom do it? Well, the Phantom just spins. And I definitely still think that this is a real concept, meaning that they do want to manipulate the camera. If it's assuming that this is just one of their ideas, they're trying to nail down, because they've got time. Obviously, they can, if this thing has an Evo like system where you can just pull in, connect and disconnect the camera, because that would make total sense. Like they did with the two, the Mavic 2 and the Mavic Zoom and the Pro version. They just swapped out the cameras and bang, here's a Pro and here's a Zoom. But with this thing, we're basically thinking that they're maybe they're trying this out. Maybe they're thinking, hey, well, does anybody see that this thing functions? Then you got to think about the firmware, to run, because I'm thinking picture in picture, meaning that you've got a camera on the top there in the center that basically takes over for your forward vision. Say you're flying with goggles. Maybe this thing flies with V3 goggles. Okay. Maybe not. We don't know.
No, I'm just I'm questioning the whole technology behind it, but
Yeah, it could be bull crap. There's a lot of it's and I yeah.
to go to Frank's comment about looks real, those things could just be renderings.
Right. Yeah, this I
You
mean the
have a
modeling.
good CAD software like I do, and you can pull renderings and make it look like the thing is real.
Oh, absolutely.
You can manipulate the lighting on it. There's so much that you can do on those things. Yep, that's not the one I wanted.
Do you want to check out this image really quick while you're moving over?
Yeah.
I'll just leave this one. So this is an image I actually found today. This is actually a year-old video um, from this gentleman up here. I don't know, Mavic 3, you know. And this is actually it was a concept video. And if you look at this one, this is a lot like that one, except for the gimbal actually looks more, to me, it looks more real. It looks more like there actually looks like that same superstructure, but this thing could actually swing up and swing down. And this one, I think that other um, image also had this rear image. You know, if you look at all the sensors in there, there's two sides. This one makes no sense. That's there, but you see the gull wing design is still in this one. There's the center camera once again. So this one looks an awful lot. And this was done over a year ago. This was a video that was done. This was that quite interesting concept wise. And and a lot of people don't go into the archives. I just did a general search, and I'm like, and then I found this thing. Look at this thing. Look at how cool it is.
Yeah, and that is what you see in that thing is basically the same thing that we've seen in that other image.
Yeah, it's just really, you know, this one has a bunch of different, you know, it has a lot of different uh, viewpoints. But look at that. There's the sideways. There's that gimbal that drops down. That would basically kind of move its way up, back up. There's the three. You got the curved front. You got this side thing, just like the Evo. The Evo 2 has this sensor set up like that. I wouldn't be surprised because these engineers they steal each other's stuff so often.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if one of the Autel engineers basically has got their crap stolen by a DJI engineer because this stuff just goes full circle. But I'm just clicking through the images now. That's a retracted gimbal. That's a pretty cool kind of idea. I don't like I said. This is not under in the that looks like very Mavic-y bottom right there, and there's the gull wings, how they're folded in. And the reason why they folded the gull wings is to basically clear this set of sensors when you fold it up. That's what the gull wings for. You guys, you heard it here first. You saw it here first.
Yeah, but there's another image floating around out there that shows the front motors upside down.
I mean, check that out, Kai. Check that out. That makes sense with the side sensor. Or right there. If this has a
Yeah.
sensor cluster and you had to fold these back, they would have to fold underneath this cluster, and you only way you could do it is by the gull wings.
Yeah.
So I just think that now this is like I said, this is a very old rendering. And okay, remember what's happened over the past year. COVID. This could have been something that was going to be released. They pulled back for COVID, and because this is their flagship, you're not going to release your flagship during a pandemic. So China pulled back this idea, and then they put the FPV out instead. They said, we're going to throw the FPV out there and just test the market, you know, because everybody's locked up. And then they kept this idea in the back burner. And then during that whole year of investigating this idea, they came up with whatever that picture showed. To me, that picture doesn't look as good as this. This one looks like it's more heavy duty. I really like how the gimbal or the camera is. It just makes more sense on this version, this image right here. So,
How to
but
have
this
that
is.
shroud around the camera mount.
Oh, you're right. Now maybe the shroud isn't on it. Maybe they took it off for weight. I don't know. So anyway, I just this is just a really interesting. It's just a real interesting. And like I said, I just found this today, and I'm like, wow, that looks a lot like that other picture. It could have been actually a false, or falsified by the same person. You know what I'm saying? It could have been the same engineer going, "Hey, I'm gonna mess with the drone world and have a little bit of fun, and since everybody forgot about me, I'm gonna bring it back out and take a still shot of that concept I had earlier." But that's pretty ornate for a for a but how do you fly that though? That's
How
the
do you fly
question.
it? I mean, how do you fly it when the cameras look in a complete different direction? You'd have to put either some sort of head tracker software in it to where things forward is wherever the camera's pointing.
Yeah, right.
But then again, why would you need to do that when the drone turns on a dime anyway? I mean, it makes sense on an airplane that has to travel in a forward motion at all times to maintain lift. Or like the dragonfish that Alltel has to travel at all times to maintain lift. So
Yeah, I just really
but
it
here's
just
my point on these renderings. Okay, I have some better cat software, a little better than the average bear, and let me show you what a 3D rendering of a part looks like when it hadn't been built yet.
yeah.
Okay, that is 100% fake picture.
It looks great. It's got the shadows, it's got
You
the
got the
reflections.
reflections, you got the shadows, you got the finishes and everything. And just to show you what it looked like after it's been built, there it is on a motorcycle. This is a flashlight holder I designed for motorcycles.
Cool.
It goes on the front crash bars on the Harleys. Okay. But that gives you an idea, fiction and fact.
Right. Actually, the fiction looks better than the fact.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's just a somebody just took it up their iPhone. When you created it in an engineer, mock-up, it's perfect. There's no weird, fluctuations in color. There's no, you know,
And
camera.
the simulation softwares are so good anymore these days that it is really hard to tell fact from fiction.
Right? Kai doesn't even know that I'm really not here.
Oh, and Chris doesn't know that I'm actually a woman, but okay.
Yeah. This whole
I know
This
that
whole
was
time,
eating more possum.
I can talk in my regular voice now, okay? It's okay. It's okay. This is just who I am, so.
oh, it's fun. It's I think it's kind of cool that somebody can do that, take that image and fool the entire world, but you have to be a drone enthusiast, and you can't tell me that somebody hasn't seen the engineering drawings of the Mavic 3 and And it can't be like and anyway, it can't be like what it was. And when everybody was still talking Phantom 5, what did people love about the Phantom, They liked that the camera was suspended. Here's another mocked photo. Here we go. Check.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the part completely just cut in half. See all the pieces, the bolts, everything. Yeah.
And that was also they have a you could do your own what's inside channel by just using CAD drawings.
Well, here you go. I mean, that's the thing, just cut in half. Yeah.
So you can, because it's important to see that, because you can see how.
Yeah. You need to see the clearances and make sure everything moves the way you want it to move. So
it will function.
There's some powerful software out there that you can create just about anything with. And
let's see, that video compilation that I showed you came out October 3rd, 2020.
About 9 months ago.
Yep. And that came out on the Mavic forum.
What's the gestation period on a drone? Just asking.
Yeah, this one was saying 18650 cells, 4S2P, as far as the power plant for it.
Be one porky little drone.
Right.
Eight cells at 50 grams each. That's 400 grams in battery alone.
Yeah, that's pretty damn close to what the
plus whatever housing there is, plus whatever electronics is in those things. So you're talking probably around 450 grams for a battery.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I could see a battery port. Okay, so this would
one of the shots shows the end of the battery.
Yeah,
it's pulled out.
Here, let me share this really quick one. This is the back end. This is the ass end of this thing. So so this is the ass end of this thing, and there you go. I mean, there's no way that pack that was just, that person said would fit in that hole. The pack would be a little bit more, it depends on, I guess, how they put it together, but
well, it would there's 4 batteries, 2 side by side, and then on top of each other. So that's why there's a square there. And actually, if you move your slide around a little bit, it shows the other end of that battery.
Let's see here. That was that there's what was that image right there? Yeah, that was the battery down there. Yeah.
And then if actually there was a shot of that battery from the other end too, because there it is. Whoops, stop. Forward, more.
Right there.
Stop.
Right there.
There she is.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's 4 and 4. Yeah, it had been elongated. So a tube.
Yeah.
This Mavic is getting it in a freaking bunghole there, with a 2P pack. Interesting. I don't know why I found this. Why it basically came to me today. It's almost like divine intervention. Why this even showed up. So it just makes some sense, because it's a combination of it's stolen stuff from the Evo and it's Mavic stuff, and because that that whole piece in the back there is this whole back piece right here is all Evo 2 sensor. You know, there's some crazy stuff going on. I guess these two top, I don't know what you'd need a top sensor for unless you were looking at, you know, you were going to raise, you know, go to the top of a bridge or something or underneath it.
Well, it's complete 360 protection. Well,
Yeah.
let's say hello to Sean real quick. He just
Yeah.
popped in.
Yeah, here, let me get stop sharing this thing right now. But yeah, just interesting thoughts coming, you know, from the
And Mr. Chris Hope is in the house.
hey, what's happening?
Howdy, Chris.
I don't know. I seem to think that you and I kind of put a intellectual spin onto the idea, you know, that's possibly, you know, something, you know, that's actually possible, you know, not a,
No, it wouldn't be impossible to put a camera that spins 360 degrees under
Yeah.
a drone. I mean, that's nothing new, but the question
Yeah.
remains is why would you?
right. And because
If you do, how do you pilot this thing safely?
right, you have to be able to answer that question. And that's the one that we can't answer.
In order to have your camera swinging 360 degrees, you just about would have to have a second camera to pilot with. You know, because one has to fly, the other one, I mean, then you run into two operator
Right.
situation where one flies and the other one controls the camera.
Well, you do have, yeah, the ones, yeah. You get into the headless. We talked about this. We talked about flying in headless mode. One joystick, the other one controls the camera 360. So you're flying in headless mode. You already have its angle. This one, you're using one stick to fly. The other one is rotating the camera. That's one
You can
idea.
have sliders on top of your controller.
Yeah, you could have a slider. Yeah.
Two sliders, one to control the rotation, the other one to pitch. I mean,
Yeah.
roll and pitch on the camera.
But
that is the easy part.
the,
But how are you gonna do? I mean, you take this thing, you fly, say a racetrack, whatever. You follow in a car, you passing it, you swing your camera out to stay focused on the car, yet you still keep going forward. There's going to be something in the way at some point.
And then we get to the next big question. Who is this drone made for? And now you start getting into
Money.
Okay, so exactly. Now you get the use. If I was a commercial drone operator, what would I want on it? If I was, you know, government like forestry, firefighting, and all, you get into all that stuff. If you're just looking at the photography version of, you know, concept, you know, say like a, you know, like an Aspire or something, you know, then now you're getting into a complex, you know, cinema camera. And then I start looking at, well, would you incorporate goggles with this? Probably, maybe not.
Well, Sean is saying, no, that's what the sensors are for, but that's not going to fly with the FAA.
Yeah.
Because you, as pilot in command, you have to be in control of the aircraft at all times.
Right. And so, you know, you throw somebody next to you with a set of goggles and they have a Bluetooth controller. Maybe that's where you get into the you know, the stick, the $200 freaking joystick that, you know, comes with the FPV. You know, now that guy's controlling the camera with the goggles, and you got a two-man operation again.
Yeah, either way, you're going to end up with a two-man operation, because I don't even think the picture-in-picture would fly, because you can only focus on one screen or one picture at a time.
Right.
So if you're checking your camera, how are you going to focus on a small window to the side and
Right.
control your flight.
Yeah, like I said, we were thinking about, the center hole, the oculus of that thing, and maybe that's a 1080p camera. Is that, because they've done this, they've put those on the you've had them on the cheap drones where the downward facing optical flow sensor also as a 1080p optical camera, and you just click it back and forth so you can look straight down or look straight forward. Why can't you look 360 degrees with your drone? Maybe some of those little freaking holes sticking out of it are actually directional cameras. You can go click it back and look behind you. You can click it to the right and look to the right or left of you by just looking at those different view cameras. I mean, that to me is another.
Just look at the flight controllers for fixed wing right now, the Maytag. Almost all of them have dual camera input where you can switch back and forth between the two cameras on board. And then you put one fixed camera and put another camera on a head tracker, and you can move that camera around to your heart's content. If you need to see where you're going, you can switch over. But then again, in a fixed wing, you have the forward motion, and the direction you're going.
Right.
To
me, this is what I enjoy about the whole drone thing, the whole drone, like
the technology behind it.
Yeah. It's the what ifs and the ideas around what's coming new. That's why my biggest problem right now is the fact that nothing really is changing right now. And I'm getting bored. I really get bored fast. And I'm one of those people that has to be stimulated with new stuff all the time. And right now, there's just nothing really. Occasionally something comes out, like the little hex copters that have come out. There's technology has to move. It's just like, I want my computer to be faster every year. I want it to be, a step further ahead. I'm not going. People I think that the toy manufacturers are starting to understand that people are getting bored of the same crap. So what they're doing is they're taking a very low level version of something that's in a more expensive toy, and they're putting it into a cheap one and creating a cheap version of it, and it's just not enough. Except for like I said, the mini. I guess the one thing they haven't done with the mini SE is they haven't put the new controller with it. Made it cheaper. That sucker is in it.
The mini SE is going to shake up the toy drone world.
Yeah,
because that is really going to put, FEMI, HUPs, and what's all them other abbreviations that are out there.
Yeah, they're really
RC or whatever they're called.
Yeah, there's so many different things that I don't see the survival of those companies, especially with the chip shortages, and they're not able to feed the growing, I guess the growing dissatisfaction. I don't know. If I was a kid right now and somebody bought me my first drone and it was the Kai one, I would probably be.
Did you really have to mention that thing right now?
I would be happy for it. I would probably be, excited about it, and I don't know for how long, but I don't know how long I'd be excited.
If you're that desperate to have some entertainment, I'd be glad to send you the Kai one.
I'm gonna look
just to give you something to do.
I'm gonna look at a picture here. I just want to get an image here. This is another image of something that we're more familiar with. Gotta find it. Just a plain old. This is the one that's probably, this would be a good image right here for us to look at. Let me see if I can get this big enough here. All right. This is nothing new, guys. It's nothing ground shaking. But here, let me share this image here. This is just a orange school bus right here. But there's your sensor array right back there, just like on those drawings. You know, you got is there, you know, that's the back end of that thing. Now that might have been an Autel innovation. And now DJI, being the evil empire it is, it's like, wow, that thing really functions well. There's the people that use this, the Evo 2, that's the Evo 2 Pro, are swearing by its ability to manipulate through environment. But that's a freaking heavy ass drone, God, with all that stuff on it. And that's got a big battery. It's got a 40-minute battery in there.
Well,
and you add another camera in there, and then see that's that 6K camera on there. That thing it's robust. It's not cheap. It's got good lenses in it. So they're taking that thing, they're taking that idea, and that's why it's interesting. You see all these photos and pictures, and I'd have to go back to looking at the one I showed you the other day, the one that looks like there's a swing coming out of the freaking nose of it. That's about the only thing, Kai, that I don't really, I think it's cool, but it looks too much like a contraption to me. And maybe it's because they did that and they took off the protection on it. They took the shroud off of it just so people could see the full size of it. So, but that is a very interesting.
Well, we'll see you later, Sean.
Thank you, Sean, for popping in, man. It is Monday.
Tuesday.
I got to find out what Sean does.
It's Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday, whatever. Wednesday.
If you were working like the rest of us, you know exactly what day of week
I'm working. I'm thinking about next year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. All right.
I'm gonna use that with my boss. Yeah, I'm working. I'm thinking about next week.
I'm looking at next year.
Oh, Sean is going live in 10 minutes.
Oh, good. If you're interested in hanging out with Sean.
Speaking of going live,
you're welcome to.
The Fly Zone Drones apparently goes live on Friday evenings after Kelly.
And it says, Sean goes on at 7. Tuesday at 7. But he must, let's see. That's so he has the same time frame as you. Yeah, he's in the same time. Is he Florida? Is Sean Idle? And is he in Florida? I think he's the Florida guy. There's too many people with money in Florida. Seems like everybody's got drones in Florida. That part of their retirement program. Okay, you got a couple things I want to check off. 1, low tax state. Psh. 2, I want it to be freaking nice. 3, I want a place I can fly. Oh, there's no place.
I wouldn't mind moving to Florida. Just grab the scuba gear, head down to the beach, and hop in.
Yeah, just walk right in. I would love that.
Beach diving? No, nothing wrong with that.
Some of the best diving is that 30-foot zone, the surf zone. There's so much crap there. That's where you can see the best. You know, it's got
Also, the
beautiful.
best zone to get screwed up.
Yeah, it's hard to float there in that 30-foot zone because you're not quite you're not quite neutrally buoyant at that. You need to be compressed a little bit more. So right below 30 feet, you're like, all right, okay, I'm good here. You get equalized right about there, but you get above 30 feet and stuff starts to float. Your wetsuit starts to decompress and it wants to float at that point. That's what I remember about 30 feet. I'm like, I remember being, having my freaking face down and my, kicking to stay at 30 feet. Maybe I didn't have enough weight.
That's what you call underweight.
Yeah, back in the day, I was so nice. It was so easy to be underweight back then. Let me tell you something. I
Yeah,
should try to put on
then
my website.
then there's that first time when you switch from fresh water to salt water, and you got to tie on every gram of lead that you have in your back just to sink.
Yep. Freaking salt water is insane, and especially if you want to keep warm. I remember this was back when I first got married. I was still actively diving and, really active. I was working with a scuba shop still, and we went on a cruise. I'm like, there's no way I'm not diving on this cruise. So I told my wife that. So I'm like, right. I'm like, I want to go. Can I go out with a boat? And she's like, fine. So I went out on this boat, and she just hung out, and I dove. It was just a wooden, just a real, I think it was Bahamas or somewhere, and I didn't have anything. Obviously, the only thing I brought, I was smart. I brought my mask and snorkel. I had my own mask, which was really nice. It sucks to have to borrow that, but I didn't wear any exposure protection whatsoever. I just did a I did a I did about a 35-40 minute dive with no wetsuit, no nothing, and it wasn't warm. Um, but it was nice because I didn't float. It was perfect. I had some of the best experience. I didn't have this going on. It was just
You don't dive dry suit?
I have not. I have never dove dry suit. That's one thing I never was able to do.
I actually have one.
Yeah, because that takes care of that problem.
Talking about Omar the tent maker. Yeah,
There's no way I could fit into my old 7 millimeter wetsuit.
That was a custom made, or that is a custom made dry suit. They took my measurements at the dive shop, sent it in. The company called them back 3 times asking about those measurements. And dive shop said, hey, look up in the top row on the first line where it's asked the height of this person. And I said, that 7 foot is not a typo.
No. Oh.
I guess they get their little formulas, that they plug all these numbers in. And then,
right.
When you go outside a certain range, their spreadsheet goes haywire.
Like, hey, whoa, wait a second. How long are the arms?
So, but a few things, shameless plugs at this point. Next Saturday is our monthly meetup in Canyon Lake. And that'll be the last one in that time slot for a while because it is just flat too hot out here.
Yeah.
It's
like the winter season. It's winter for hot climate people.
The problem is we're going to screw up batteries. Closed captions, yeah, I've seen that, Woody.
Let's see. You can add them automatically, but needs to be reviewed before you save. I don't know how. So YouTube automatically.
They do speech recognition.
Okay. I wondered about that. I would add them on. I would add captions on there. You probably just have to enable them.
Ja, und dann packt ein paar deutsche Wörter mit zwischen, dann kann die Maschine wieder nichts verstehen.
Ja.
Du mich auch.
Ja, Kai.
Oh, Ben T. The later the show, the greater guess.
Hey Ben, how you doing?
So,
You
now,
get
like I said, it's getting hot out there, and I don't think there's a lot of sense in going out there in 100-degree heat and screw up your batteries or your aircraft, since we know that DJI will shut down before it sacrificed the battery, as we found out was your testing, and Air 2, was it?
Yeah.
That you hovered in a no-fly zone for
Yep.
all of 2 minutes before she shut down?
The old freaking meltdown video.
So
That's the only thing that keeps me from buying an Air. That's I'm like, all right, I could just buy it and fly it and do a couple tests with it, but I'm just like, I just can't do it.
well, it'll fly at 104 degrees for about 2.5 minutes,
Yeah, today would be perfect. It's 107 today.
and then she'll get hot and start landing on you, whether you want to or not.
I should fly the Mavic Air 1 right now and see if it can. That'd be kind of an interesting test. I haven't flown it in a while. I should get it out and pop a battery in there and fly it in the heat. It's 107. Maybe I'll do that. I haven't done a.
That's what you should do. That's what you should do with your shutdown video from last year. Make a short out of it. Say, okay, this is what happens when you fly above 105 or whatever temperature it was.
Yeah, I'm going to test. I'm going to do that. Why not? I might even do this I'm going to do that this afternoon. It's just something that's interesting. It would also tell you that the Mavic Air 2 is not the same main board architecture, all that's all different. Especially if the Air 1 will fly in this heat. And say it can fly for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 10 or 15 minutes. It only can fly for 15 minutes anyway in a hover situation. So,
well, I would consider Sunday. The thing is, well, we're flying out there as a soccer fields, and those soccer fields are leased by their little soccer club, and I've looked online to see a schedule, when they're playing, when they're not playing, but they don't have anything online that says that they're playing or not playing.
on Sunday.
With summer break being on now, I'm guessing there's no soccer games going on right now, but I could be completely wrong about it.
When do most schools get out? Do they get out now?
I think they're already out.
Okay, because ours is usually 4 weeks ahead of everybody. We get out much earlier, and then we start up in the end of August.
Yeah, Ben, I heard about y'all going flying at the park, and somebody hollering, "Fly it over my house, and I'll shoot you down." Yep, and there's Mike from Quebec.
Hey, Michael. Let's see. Let me go through here real quick. I just want to go look through the chat stream, say hi to everybody, just to remind, hey, these other people that have been on today. Eat More Possum was on early right away. Thank you. Lee McCready, Woody Drones. Eat more. Sean, I don't know who's on with us. Chris Hope's been with us. Bob Casey popped in, is still in, hopefully. Woody Drones. So good group for Tuesday. Usually what happens on Tuesday it kind of just builds and builds,
Yeah.
It's because it's just an odd day. And
Well,
Sean
apparently
Idle did tell me, excuse me.
Runcam came out with a digital camera now that can be modified to be used with DJI too.
Oh, interesting. So Runcam is getting into the FPV market with DJI. That would be interesting.
They're getting in. Well, they've been in the FPV camera market for a
A
while.
long time, yeah.
So but now they're coming with what they call MIPI compatibility for that camera. So that's for the little Raspberry boards. Because there's that's not very well known, but there is another outfit, not an outfit, but there's an open source project to build a HD video transmission system that's open source, and they are using Raspberry Pi boards, and that's what that camera is for. Apparently, it was a little modifying. Runcam is wanting to make them compatible to DJI as well. So they know how to make them compatible with DJI, but as it sits right now, it's marketed for Raspberry Pi. And we got Bob Casey and we got AZ Drone Dude. Welcome. And Jim Stroning.
All right. See, I told you it just kind of picks up. People just kind of pop in as persons get off of work, and we've got that kind of that delay of people. That's why it's best to kind of go later in the stream. I've always been way too early. The 4 o'clock stream hour is just it's a really bad odd time, but nobody else wanted it, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do that.
Oh, Matt Cundiff, Third Eye View. Wow, we're pulling a crowd now.
Yeah, like I said, it kind of builds. That's just the type of it's the type of thing that happens on Tuesdays. They're just let me get this off here. But yeah, I kind of like that overlay. It seems like everything's working good. I think I've overcome the issue of running StreamYard and OBS together. So nicely done. I like that. I like to be able to the simplicity of StreamYard if you just want to go and do something. But, I can't take an intermission with StreamYard.
Yes, you can.
There we go. So everything else, yeah. So
That works real easy. Right there.
There you go, right there. How about that? There we go. Mine's bigger.
Yours is quieter too.
I keep screwing that one up. I've got two different labels. One is small me, big me. This is my guest display right here, where Kai's not here. Where is he? He should be over to my. So I technically could. Well, I couldn't bring in anybody with their sound. I couldn't bring their voice in because I'd have to go through my audio.
Fix that.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go.
I'm on the right side now.
On the right side. But
on the wrong side of the road.
This is so if Kai goes too long, I can run this one.
Well, I ain't got a cure for that. That's right there.
Oh, you're out of here. He can just throw me out. All right. We already had dueling freaking screen banjos there.
What's
But
it? Kick from studio, ban from studio.
you can't do
What
that
do
crap
all these
anymore.
buttons do? Edit name.
Let's see.
That's right. I didn't turn on any names, did I? We don't even know who we are.
Hey, Michael, how's your weather going? How's the Canadian summer treating you?
The Canadian summer. Is there
The
such a
Canadian
thing?
summer, the Quebecian summer. I'm sure it's gorgeous. I bet you it's like 85 there now. Probably 85, and they have those nice cool mornings. Uh, he's got Oak Island that close to him. He can just jump in his car and drive over to Nova Scotia. And Michael, do you believe any of that crap? Do you think that's just a bunch of, hey, third eye in the house? Hey, how
Bob
you doing?
Casey wants to know about my hat. My hat is this hat actually comes from Amazon. And
That's
I will drop a link in the description after the show.
He's got to get the trucker version of that hat right here. Just like the Colorado, you got to have the trucker.
I tried to set the hats up in Tree Spring, or Teespring, whatever that thing is called. But some was not right was my logo. One of the lines is too thin that they couldn't digitize my logo. But
Your lines are too thin. We don't want those. Canadian summer's nice. Not 85. Jim, where are you from? Not 85 yet, though. Come on, it gets 80. Crap, it gets 85 up in Canada. It gets 85 up in Alaska. That's what I was watching today. I was watching a lady hunting caribou today. Watching one of those I forget what is it, I don't know. Let's see. I like the style of that. Yeah, I do too. I like the simplicity of that logo there. He could easily incorporate that into his own channel art. Works perfect. So he's got rain, guys. It has not rained west of the Mississippi. Well, it does in Texas, but I guess okay, west of the Colorado, it hasn't rained, and I don't know. We're hitting those records again. Won't be long before I'm gonna have to tear out my yard, and they're gonna make me plant cactus up in there. And I don't have much grass. I have a small amount of grass, and it's the only reason why I like some grass is it cools down your yard. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people go, "Oh, grass is terrible." Well, when you live in a hot climate, it gives you a microclimate for a longer period of time. So grass will actually cool down your house area, and I like to be outside. So let's see, 112 here in Arizona. Heck yeah, 112 at 4:30. Yeah, it's cooling down, isn't it? Last night, with our little mini party we had going on, it was my wife's going away to go get drunk party, and pre-party, and it was freaking brutal. And they wanted to sit outside to watch the basketball game. They wanted to watch the Jazz and the Clippers game. So I'm like, all right, we'll go outside. And I put in the no-fly zone, put the TV on, and hooked up a computer to it so we could watch Xfinity and put it on there. It was so hot. So I have this little standalone swamp cooler, filled it full of water, maximum, and before the end, well, about the end of towards the end of the game, it ran out of water. So there you go. My lawn is actually holding the water in. That swamp cooler that I hooked up and filled with water burned off 3 gallons in less than an hour. So I just humidified a little part of Utah, southern Utah. Anything going on in the FPV front of any note that we need to know? It's just not. The big thing is the chip shortages, and one of the things I would give you a little bit of advice on is if you're going to sell something right now, freaking jack the price up. So I kind of gave I sold my rocket. I'm glad I did because the person that bought it is actually learning. They're like learning to fly FPV. And I'm glad that's perfect for that. You know, to me that's I want somebody that's going to fly it, be happy. But if I ever had to sell Mr. Croc, well, I don't know if I would, man, because parts are too hard to come by. Your air units are, it says $180 for an air unit, but if you want to get it quick, it's going to cost you over 200. And then you got to buy the drone. And then the flight controllers are getting more expensive. They're up in the $100 range now, aren't they? For the good ones.
Yeah. But there was some questions about props, and I've got a little experience to weigh in on props. Those 8-bladed props,
the 8-bladed prop
HQ cells, do not use them unless you have a center whoop where the props are enclosed. One hard landing and those props are toast. They are very, very sensitive, and forget about bending them back into shape. You won't get nothing but vibration out of them.
Right, because you just can't. The bases of the prop, the part that actually connects to the hub, are very thin. And that is
on this thing here, they work great. I mean, this thing flies so well these days. Was those 8-bladed props and those big ass motors in it? It's noisier than hell,
and that's the drone that's hot right now for flying. Doing the fly around shots. If you want to do fly in the door and fly around, I actually I'm going to do a video like that the beginning of this next August. A friend of mine who is an assistant principal, he wants to do an introduction video and he wants me to fly into the school and fly around the school. So I'm like, sweet. So that's something that I've got to prepare for. And I'm definitely going to fly a drone with prop guards. So that was where, okay, I just sold my rocket. Oh, crap. Oh, boy. He brought that up. Well, I guess it'd be good for the FPV drone, if I had prop protection on that.
The FPV drone has adapters available now that you can put on there and fly your DJI FPV with just about any prop out there.
Well, that's right, the adapters. The hub adapters. I did see that. Trying to keep that concept alive and kicking. That is something that is kind of nice because then you can experiment with different prop designs and you can go with different prop pitches. Right now, DJI isn't really doing much of anything when it comes to prop pitch. They just have a stock version that they want everybody to use.
I'm just gonna share some video in here of my last flight. Was that center whoop here last weekend? Just buzzing around a bit.
Is that air unit footage there?
Nope, that's actually out of the Osmo Action.
Oh, that's not. I thought you said you had the SMO camera too that you were in.
I've got the SMO camera. I have that on the 5-inch shocker.
Yeah, that's really good there. That's stabilized. That's Osmo Action stuff there. That's great.
That is the Osmo Action on top of the little plywood chasers.
The most misunderstood camera right now out. It's the one of the best cameras. Its price is cheap, and everybody is just like so enamorized with GoPro. When this thing right here has, stabilization, it has
got the
4K 60. Yeah, rock steady 4K 60. Look at that. That's amazing. That's great footage. It's evening footage. You got the shadows going on there. Beautiful.
And that is, upgraded motors and the higher props. So the eight bladed props.
We can only show it in 720p though.
I actually recorded this in 2.7K, so.
But StreamYard only gives us 720.
I mean, just look at how stable that rig is.
Yeah, that's smooth. And you can see the colors. You can definitely see the color grades. That the sky looks good. The greens are separated. The shadows look good. You don't have any like really dark areas in the your shot. You can see the highlights. I mean, there's zero reason for everybody to be I mean, we got a 199. You can get a. I don't see. I don't even see what it runs in. The Osmo concept, the whole Osmo camera idea. I don't know if.
Well, rumor has it there's going to be a new version 2 of the Osmo coming out this summer.
Yep, there's the Osmo Action right there. And that's just, like I said, a lot of people just do not, we're not there. See, now this is how I can hijack Kai's stream right here. I was just going to throw the Osmo Action on right there. So, but 199. 199. And it's just it has the you can change the covers out, and you could and like I said, there's no reason for you to not get good video, just none. The only thing you lose, you have to have a quad that can pick up that weight, So
and the weight on that is a lot better than it is on a GoPro 9.
What's the weight? I guess I could. I don't know if I can. The specs here, customer images.
How about I throw it on the scale?
Yeah, go ahead. Here, I can look at. Yeah, you can put the real one on there.
126.8.
126.8. Let's see what the.
I'll throw an SD card on there, so now we're at 127 even.
0.21 pounds. Oh, come on. They just should use grams here. This is one of those examples where they put 0.21 pounds on there. What the hell? Put ounces or something, or grams. I mean, I understand grams more than I understand that. So, but yeah, this 199. It's just for $200, you get a camera that really just takes care of everything that you'd ever want to do with a camera, except for something questionable, which I don't know. I guess you're gonna use it for your porn studio. I don't know. It's waterproof. Oh man.
There's some needless information right there.
What, using the Osmo Action for your there you go. Yeah, make me smaller.
There we go.
Yeah, it's just great footage. I mean, it's can't go wrong, man. Like, I guess you can't use real steady with that, can you? Does it have
Rocksteady.
huh?
It's called Rocksteady on
Right.
Osmo
You know,
Action.
but like that the program Real Steady, which allows you to do all kinds of crazy stuff because it uses the GPS.
Yeah, I don't think you can because you need to have that gyro information.
Right. I'm with you on that. It makes no sense. But look at that. I think, like I said, the colors look great. The shadows look good. You can see a blue sky. You can, if you had some dynamic sky, it would always be helpful. Like there is some in the background there. Anytime you can get clouds, anytime you can get in the evening and there's clouds, you're in for the greatest video ever. And there's just enough puffy clouds in there to make it interesting. The worst thing that you could ever happen when you're filming in the afternoon is when the sky is just pitch blue. I really that's something that I have to deal with all the time. There's no clouds, and it just really hurts your images when you can't bring in the blue with something in there to see. Like there you go. There's you got your sky right there. But look at how smooth that is. That's just very smooth. That is very DJI FPV like flying right there. That's what it's like to fly the DJI FPV right there. Probably the same camera sensor. I don't even know. I'm sure it's very similar. Probably the same. Probably. Well, this should have a better one actually, but most of those companies will. But yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, $199, guys. You don't have to go buy a GoPro Hero 9 for $379. You can buy a GoPro Hero 7 for $199. So I guess you do have a choice. You can buy the Hero 7 or, that's a silver though. That's not even a Hero 7 black. Hero 8 black is $299. I can imagine the Hero 7 black has got to be at least $199. I don't know. But I wouldn't even go near that when I could get the Osmo Action. So I really, like I said, I really am a proponent of the quality of DJI cameras. So there's no question. So.
And this is unedited, undone anything. There's no color grading. There's nothing. This is just raw video.
Yeah. You got a 5-inch quad. That's the way to go. Or you got a Cinewhoop with a spinning a big old prop like that.
Oh, this is a Cinewhoop, and it's on 3-inch prop.
8. But you just.
I mean, this thing has a lot of muscle behind it because I put those FPV Cycle 2203 motors on it. They're 2800 kV on a 6S battery. Yeah.
Yeah, Bob's basically saying I've had the Osmo Action for about 3 months. I need to use it more. It's just one of those cameras that you can just point and shoot and just. I think the biggest mistake most people make with cameras, and I'm making it right now. And I drove all the way to California and back. I drove all over the place, and I didn't film anything. And that's just not like me. Oh, look at that.
But now let's talk about how these drones molest the animals in the area.
And look at how calm they were.
This freaking Cinewhoop is loud. I mean, if you ever hear those what they call EDF jets where they have the 12-bladed prop inside the fuselage. They sound like a real freaking turbine. I got 4 of those on this thing, was those 8-bladed props. That thing makes a ruckus and a half. The horses, that none of the animals care about any of that.
Well, we saw.
I don't know if I got footage on here. I flew this. I almost flew under the Longhorns. Was one of them.
If I had that would be a cool photo. Longhorns are cool. I love what they look like. We actually have some. I used to work for a guy that had a Longhorn ranch.
Well, the neighboring pasture has Longhorns in it
because they're cool. They when they keep the horns on the cows, the Longhorns. That's why that's their breed. But they obviously they don't dehorn them because of course that's part of the desire for them. Plus they're show cattle. Longhorns are really not bred to be eaten. They're bred to be shown and raised and but they make for cool video. I guess you'd have to like condition the Longhorns over time, just keep flying by them. So they just, after a while, they're just like, oh, there's that buzz
they don't
again.
care. I buzzed over the top of them was the shocker, and they just didn't care.
Yeah, they don't give a crap. So cool stuff. That's it. That's
find
cool.
that footage.
Alrighty, Kai. I'm gonna have to exit the stream here. Get into my evening dinner time here. With
I'm getting to the.
I'm having my bachelor dinner. I'm the bachelor farmer today.
What's for dinner?
Leftover tacos from yesterday.
You need instructions how to warm them up or something?
Taco Tuesday. Yeah, I just walk over to my in-laws' house and they're already warm. I'm spoiled, guys.
I'm just gonna put this on here for a second anyway. This is SMO camera right here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, the color, look at the sky. Now the SMO, that's Insta footage, and Insta's big into color grade, and you can see that's way, yeah.
Well, that's a different time of day too.
Right. But the blues get picked up a little bit better by the see, there it is. That's my phone call coming in right there, guys. Hello. Hello.
Hi, leftovers are ready.
All right, there we go. Thank you. I'll be right over. Okay, bye. But I guarantee, even if you did that same, obviously you can see the dynamics of the sky there. But the SMO does a great job. That's a great camera. Very happy with it. I don't do any color adjustments either. You can, when you render it, you can do all kinds of cool things to render it, but you can add. It's got an enhanced color.
This is the part we're almost wrecked.
Yeah.
Watch this. And I'm surprised it didn't drop out of the sky. Watch it. Watch it.
Oh, there's the tree.
Yeah.
He's been watching my videos. At least you pulled through that. It didn't become an adventure.
It sounded pretty wicked on the ground.
Oh, when I hit the tree, I have video of the sound in the background. You can hear it going.
I could turn on the sound, but I'm not going to. But yeah, I finally got some flying done after almost a month was nonstop rain down here.
Yeah, no, I know you're happy to be back out. It's it's been a long time. I'm done with my prime time flying time, and now it's all heat from here on out. It's all hot. But Kyle, he's getting a lot more smooth, Ellen. Look at that flight. All righty. I do have to get going, guys. That was I'm not going to be rude. So I am going to have to
No, you go.
exit the stream. But thank you so much. That's some cool footage. I said the Osmo. It's like we forgot that camera even existed. That was we've got to we've got to use that's why I haven't bought another camera. I've had such good results with, at least for vlogging, with the Pocket 2. I mean, it's foolproof. It's the perfect vlogging camera, and I didn't take it out when I freaking drove 2,000 miles. I could have made a compilation video, just just a couple shots here and there. I'm kidding. I gotta freaking pick up my game, man. Gotta pick it up. All right.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Flying simulator does
Makes
help.
a difference. Yeah.
It helps a lot.
Yeah.
It gets you to build the muscle memory.
And that's what I need to do now. Now, we actually talked about that, doing some simulator on Tech Tuesday. Maybe I'm going to make that happen this week. I'm going to get on the simulator, get my DJI controller connected up, go to DRL. I think I'll download that tonight. So this week and then we can get into some drone racing stuff where we can get on together. That would be fun. I would really enjoy that. So let me, I'm going to put that.
If you happen to have some analog goggles laying around, hooking up your goggles to the computer for an extra screen is just the bomb. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I've done it with my goggles. I actually changed out graphics cards on my computer, so I have an extra output on the graphics card now. And I've got a cable that plugs right into the HDMI in on the Sky Zones, and it's just fun. I mean, you have the full feel of being in the goggles and flying.
All righty, sir. I am out of here. Thank you.
All
so
righty.
much.
Yeah, we're all gonna go bye-bye now.
Yep.
Everybody have a good evening, good night. We'll see you on Friday at the regular schedule, 5:00 Central for Mountain.
Yeah, Friday's still on so far, so I almost got roped.
Unless, of course, Dad has to go shopping at the mall again. Then I'll be here and nobody else. I mean,
no, there won't be. It'll be. I'm probably going to be in this studio here because it's too freaking hot to be outside. So, Dad Random will be here, no fly zone, on Friday. All righty, guys.
all right. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for stopping on the way out. If you hit that like button, please.
You do like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Spread the word. I put all links in the description on my YouTube, Facebook, Discord server. They're all in the description. And
Thank
if
you so much.
Bob didn't see the link for the Amazon, I put it in the chat. Hopefully you saw it. Otherwise, I will add it to the description. And now I'm done.
Very cool. Bye-bye.
Y'all have a good night. We'll see you all later.
Have a great rest of the week.
And here we go.